Formula One's winter break may be a freestyle event, but there are still those who notch up a proud points tally for stylistic excellence. When is a break not a break? During Formula One's winter out time, they do more than just top up the batteries. There are new developments to be fine-tuned, projects to be finished off. They're nearly as busy as in the racing season proper. The iron rule of motorsport's royal class is watch your back and keep ahead of the pack. The season kicks off with a trio of races overseas, all within 4 weeks, in Australia, Malaysia and Brazil. The venues Melbourne, Sepang and Sao Paulo. To start with, at least the colours looked nicely shuffled in the lineup. Infighting was the name of the game, and often enough it was just the proverbial coat of paint that separated the cars. When they got to Europe, the Silver Arrows had 2 third places to their credit. In his debut race for West McLaren Mercedes, Kimi Räikkönen came in third, while David Coulthard followed suit in Brazil. The West McLaren Mercedes team unveil their MP417. A silver carbon fibre arrow, it is a totally new departure in the quest to thrust back the frontiers of technical feasibility. The new partnership with Michelin is one major novelty. Another is David Coulthard's new teammate, Kimi Räikkönen, who has stepped in for Mika Hakkinen. Enter the next cool Finn then, Kimi Räikkönen. He's a man who wastes little time with words, but gets his message across loud and clear with a gas pedal. This is only Kimi's second Grand Prix season, but he isn't out to ingratiate himself by treating his colleagues as elders and betters. His will to go for it embroils him in close combat with fearsome rivals like Juan Pablo Montoya. Scenes to warm the cockles of the spectators' hearts and stand out among the season's most thrilling moments. Räikkönen's finest hour in 2002 comes during the Grand Prix at Magny-Cours. Now this looks like Kimi Räikkönen's first match ball. With David and Kimi both putting in a strong performance and the teams getting their strategy just right, Kimi's second pit stop leaves him ahead of Michael Schumacher, setting the pace and staying in front. Then, 5 laps before the checkered flag, he skids on an oil slick left by a less fortunate contender. And Schumacher walks off with both the French Grand Prix and the World Championship title. By garnering his 5th title, he's equalled the record set by racing legend Juan Manuel Fangio. Congratulations to Michael Schumacher and Ferrari on an outstanding performance. Fittingly enough, and practically a long-standing member of the team, has made his home in Monte Carlo. Together with his partners, David Coulthard runs an unusual hotel in Monaco, lavishing lots of attention on detail. David relishes the thought of being a Scottish monarchan and waxes effusive as he shows us around his new home territory in his SL Cabriolet. Incidentally, driver and car date from exactly the same year.
Here we are now. We're going up the hill towards Casino Square. And I know the line that I take in the racing car. Now obviously I can't take that line today, but I'm driving this circuit more than any other circuit that we practice on during the year. We have to take a slightly different line through Casino because of this is a big roundabout, and very impressive down the hill to past the tip top. Very famous bar, the Lowe's hairpin. Very famous corner, very tight hairpin, and the Grand Prix car is maximum lock. In my old SL, it's one turn of lock, no problem. Here we have the entry to the tunnel. So we go from the bright sun into the darkness. And then when you come out of the tunnel, you have the sun again, very bright in your eyes during the Grand Prix. So you have to refocus, just like I have to do now. And then get your braking perfect at the top of the hill. And obviously in the harbour you have all the boats, all the glamorous people. And then we have the run down to Rascasse Corner, very tight, hairpin bends. Just merging with the traffic, and then we're on the start-finish straight again. If you're really lucky, you get to see the checker flag first. It's good to live in Monaco. This makes it really a home Grand Prix.
In the absence of a Scottish Grand Prix, David has adopted the Monaco Grand Prix as his home race. That's what's called setting your sights high, but the best of intentions and a strong start are half the battle. Barely has David started to leave the pack behind him, though, when his McLaren Mercedes emits blue smoke from its exhaust. There's a bustle of frantic activity in the pits, in the cockpit, at the telemetric controls. It turns out a reserve oil tank valve has stayed open, but they managed to close it telemetrically. A just-in-time pit stop a few minutes later ensures the whole team top marks. David drives an immaculate race with Schumacher and the two BMW Williams breathing down his neck much of the way. His victory is important to both him and the team. The glitter of the Monaco trophy dispels the gloom of less happy moments. Win here and you can win anywhere. Then it's party time in Monte Carlo, and the team lets its hair down too. Triumphs like this call for celebration. West McLaren Mercedes prides itself on its new communication centre. Motor racing has always had a message to get across, with a minimum of delay and, above all, to the right people. It wasn't prestige that inspired the new centre, but the need for ideal working conditions for the team, their guests and the media. As a place of encounter for doing business and making friends, the communication centre made its mark from the start, and it drew a steady stream of visitors. As for the right Anglo-German balance between McLaren and Mercedes, at the World Cup, Brazil eliminated first England, then in the finale, Germany. The Nürburgring is marking its 75-year jubilee, and the Fangio sculpture, which David and Kimi unveil, pays tribute to Mercedes' long-standing and highly successful commitment to motor racing. The Jubilee celebrations include the inauguration of the Mercedes Arena, an event worthy of a 75-year love affair between Mercedes, the Silver Arrows, and the racetrack in the Eifel Mountains. Our two Formula One drivers then circled the new Grand Prix course in the Mercedes S-Type sports car, with which Rudolf Caracciola had won the inaugural race of the Nürburgring in 1927. During the European Grand Prix, the Mercedes Arena offered a perfect view of a section of the course that witnessed any amount of excitement. Not all of it was what we wanted to see, as when Montoya catapulted Coulthard out of the race. Kimi Raikkonen came in third behind the two Ferraris. The modifications made to the Hockenheimring were far more sweeping than those at the Nürburgring. In the aptly breathtaking space of only 7 months, almost all the course, except for the Motordrome, were refashioned. The Mercedes grandstand, located beside a thrilling new sequence of bends from parabolica to hairpin, enjoys a superb view. The facility also houses a lounge for discerning visitors on a first-class racing weekend.
Herzlich willkommen in der neuen Mercedes-Benz Lounge.
Mercedes-Benz, präsentiert von...
When the action stops up front, the show goes on round the back. Mercedes may be the host, but of course anyone's welcome, even redcaps, regardless of age. The Mercedes stand and its whole ambience are a new focal point for action and attractions within the overall experience of motor racing. A meeting place for the sports aficionados.
Begeistert am Sport teilhaben.
Bernd Schneider, Uwe Alten und Thomas Seger, 3 DTM-Fahrer aus dem Mercedes-Team.
This marathon season's final sprint travels 10,000 kilometres west and another 10,000 kilometres east within the space of 10 days. Ferrari, virtually unbeatable in 2002, notched up double victories 5 times in a row. Then, in the closing races, red was again twice tagged with silver. In Indianapolis and Suzuka, first David, then Kimi took third place. The enduring fascination of Formula One racing remains unbroken. Where else can you find this beguiling atmosphere, this mix of high-tech acrobatics and daredevilry? It's never helpful in any sport if one team gains such supremacy. But Grand Prix racing will survive, and there can be no doubt that we'll do our part.